Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie, and today we are continuing on with my Destash series. This is part 2 of going through my darker greens in my collection. If you missed it in part 1, I pretty much just got overwhelmed with the amount of greens that I had in my collection, so I decided to split it into 2 color groups. So last week's video focused on the lighter, brighter spring and summer greens, while this video goes over the darker fall and winter greens. So as always, I will save more of my thoughts for the end. For now, let's just get into it. All right, so it is obviously a new day. We have our empty workspace in front of us, and let's just get my dark greens on here. Okay, so here are all of my darker greens. These are the ones that I had mainly in like my fall and winter drawers. And I think, if I remember correctly, I had more of my lighter greens, which definitely does track because I've just had a lot of those for a longer time. Like when I first got into nail polish, I definitely preferred like pastel greens. The problem is that I know that I love so many of these, so I am a little nervous, but yeah, as always, let's start by separating them into color groups. And this is going to be kind of hard because I feel like, again, there's just so much, like, maybe not like variety, but I guess like nuance with the different colors. So I know there are a couple of these, like, you know, yellowy, like olive greens, but then there's shades like these where, I don't know, maybe they're more mossy. Like I wouldn't say they're similar enough to, like, you know, these yellowy olive greens. I guess we'll just keep these up here for now. And yeah, let me just try to make some sense of the organization. Okay, so I think these are in somewhat of a color order, though I did kind of give up around this bottom here, but hopefully here you can tell that I have the more like yellowy, lighter kind of greens. Then these are more getting into like the blue tone greens, and it's kind of like the top 2 rows. And then I have some of my like more olivey, like prugly shades here right in the middle. These are more of those like bluey leaning greens, but I don't know, they're just so different than these, especially like this row here. It just looks so much more muted than these, so I don't know, they're just separate. These are more of like my brighter, I guess, like mid-tone greens, and then I just put a lot of extra like miscellaneous sparkly greens all along the bottom. I didn't really make, like, you know, these separate piles like I normally do. Everything's just still kind of in the way. I know I definitely have like the least amount of these like yellowy kind of green, so I want to start there. Okay, so let me start with this little pile here. I actually moved these 2 that were in this pile over here because I don't know, it makes sense in my head that they just have more yellow. So starting with those 2 shades, they are Holo Tacos Not Pressed and Morgan Taylor's Freshly Cut, which I think was from a spring collection, maybe it was fall. And I surprisingly actually like Not Pressed. It's not like, you know, my favorite shade ever, but I definitely would want to keep it. And I'm actually torn on keeping the Morgan Taylor because I definitely think these are different enough that I could justify both, because this is just so much lighter and more muted. I think I'm just going to put this one in my destash pile, and this one I can move down to what I'm keeping. these two, my true like olive kind of shades, we have Cirque's Olive Jelly and Mooncat's The Stranger, which I feel like, you know, is a cult classic in its own way, but I admittedly don't really ever wear this. Same goes for Olive Jelly, but I feel like I kind of do want to keep them just because they are like the truest olive shades in my collection. Like any other shade, you know, is a little too muted or too blue toned. Like these are olive. So maybe against my better judgment, I will be keeping those as well. This one here is Color Department's Moss, and it's definitely not olive, right? It's not as yellow. So maybe I'll move this to like a different pile or something just to like compare it to some other creams. But honestly, no, even just like looking at, you know, the other ones I have, this is also pretty unique to my collection. It's kind of, you know, a really true like mossy green. I think it is picking up a little bit brighter on camera. I'm not sure if that's because of like, you know, the darker background, it's like skewing the white balance. So maybe, you know, because these are darker shades, I should have switched to the lighter background. I guess technically like between, you know, The Stranger and Color Department, I do prefer the Color Department more. Maybe I should do that, right? Because it's like, I already have Olive Jelly. I mean, the Mooncat is a cream, right? So it's not gonna compare at all when you see them side by side, but maybe I will just keep the Color Department instead and destash the Mooncat one. These two here are Olive Ave's Emerald, which is an olive color, not emerald green, and this is ILNP's Olive Grove from the Harvest collection. I feel like I have to keep this, right? Because it's from the Harvest collection and it's so good. But admittedly, I don't like it nearly as much as Countryside, which was the olive from the Vineyard collection last fall. I just prefer this type of finish from ILNP a lot more than like, you know, the little, I mean, this is still like a gorgeous finish, but I don't know, there's something about this that I love so much more. Maybe because it's just more of a true green and this has like a lot of gold, but I do have to keep both. And even with Olive Ave's Emerald, I kind of like this one. Like even though it's kind of a somewhat prugly shade, it's still pretty unique. Like it's much darker than Olive Jelly, more brown than Moss. So, you know, it's kind of standout in a way. This one here is Firewall from Mooncat, which I think is still around because I think it's like one of their best sellers or something. It's kind of like a weird like dingy green, but more of a metallic finish or like a shimmery metallic. So I think while these are close, they're just very different finish wise that I want to keep both, but you know what, actually I don't know, like, I mean, I think Firewall is so cool. Keep it for now, but I think this is one of those that I will really have to like consider, you know, like, or make an effort to try and wear it and see if it's actually worth keeping. Because I think right now it's like, I just like the idea of it, but I don't really wear it, you know? And these last couple of greens here, this middle one is Kelp Kingdom, which is one of their prugly shades that they discontinued. It's a magnetic. It is absolutely gorgeous. This is like, I shared this in my video, like pruglies I actually like. It is so cool. So I will be keeping this one. I'm sorry. I know people have asked me before, like, can you please like destash that one? Unfortunately, no, that is too pretty. And the other magnetic that I have here is Cirque's Draco, which is just such a gorgeous, gorgeous dark green. This one I might have to compare to like other dark shimmery greens, probably from this like bottom row, because even though it is a magnetic, you know, I feel like just color-wise, maybe it's similar to something I already have, and I would rather keep the non-magnetic version, you know? And lastly, we have Mooncat's Prickly Pear. I really want to like this because it's like, I love the name. I love, you know, the elements, like it comes together so well, but it's just one of those that, you know, on me, I don't love. So I'm not gonna force it. I'm just gonna move on from it. And I guess we can do these like lighter shades here that like, even though they are so light, they, like I mentioned, were just in my fall drawers. Let's start with these two because these I would say are the most similar. We have Sinful Colors, So Matcha Better, and Olivav's Echeverria, which just came out in their spring collection. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that I didn't really care for Echeverria too much. I actually don't remember if I compared it to the Sinful Colors. I'm hoping that I did because they like look so similar, but I would rather keep this one just because it's like matcha themed. I know that might be silly, but that's just, I don't know, what makes me happy for my collection. So I will keep that one. I guess the only other close one here is Terre from Olivav, and this one is a little bit deeper, more saturated, definitely not as like of a gray green as matcha, so I am gonna keep that. And from here I really want to keep Night Owl Lacquers. I'm a knitter, not a quitter. One, because my friend Tyler sent this over to me. He saw my video where I was talking about the potion polish called Fall Farmhouse, where I was like, oh, I really, you know, I missed out on it. I'm so sad. It looks so beautiful. And he's like, I feel like this polish looks pretty similar, so I can send it to you. And he did. I'm just so excited about it because it looks so beautiful. Like, not an exact dupe for Fall Farmhouse, but you know, close enough for me. So I'm gonna be keeping that. These two certs, we have Succulent Garden and Pistachio, which is one of their speckled polishes. I know for sure I will be keeping Succulent Garden because I really love this one. Pistachio, on the other hand, it's so hard because I actually do love this speckled finish from Cirque, and I used to have a couple of them, but again, I just don't end up wearing them. I do think I want to keep this one though because it's kind of giving like mint chocolate chip vibes, you know, but in like a slightly darker base. It's not like a bright minty shade. It's subtle, and I still really like it. So this is another one. I should probably like write these down, like the shades that I really should make an effort to wear again to really decide if I want to keep it or not. And last we have Cracked Polishes, It's Hard Out Here, which was from the Catchphrase collection. I do really like this one, but at the same time, I kind of prefer Lima Jelly Bean, which was like, you know, one of the lighter shades. I'm pretty sure this one was even more opaque, like it's more of that, you know, shimmery metallic sort of finish. So that is really nice. Lima Jelly Bean is like a lot more sheer and buildable, but I don't know, I like that. So even though this one is pretty, I think I am gonna set this aside. Next, I guess we can do these like weird sort of, not weird, but like kind of these mid-tone-ish greens. Okay, so I kind of, you know, moved some of them in different piles, but these are kind of like my darker mid-tone greens, if that makes sense. I feel like they're just different than, you know, the undertones in the other piles. But starting with the creams, we have Holo Taco's Modest Moss and Olivav's Forest. Immediately, let me compare Modest Moss to Color Department's Moss. Yeah, you can probably tell that the Color Department is a little bit deeper, more yellow leaning. So they are different enough that I could justify both, but I kind of don't want to do that. Honestly, even though I do think Modest Moss is a really pretty green, when it comes to like a mossy shade, I think I do prefer the Color Department one. But this Holo Taco is so pretty at the same time. Dang it. Okay, maybe I'll put this in this pile so that way I can compare it to a couple of greens in there, just to be sure, you know. But Leafy I definitely want to keep just because it's like, you know, a nice grassy kind of green, and I like this formula a lot. I think it's really great, especially for nail art, so I'm gonna be keeping this one. These two shimmery ones here are Cracked Polishes Bougie Emerald and Ethereal's Haunted Furby, which was from a polish pickup a couple of months ago where my bestie sent this to me. To be honest, I haven't worn it yet, but I do want to keep it because I do really like it and I want to wear it. It's just not one I'm like, you know, planning to wear anytime soon. And Cracked Bougie Emerald, I have to keep this. It's such a gorgeous glittery kind of green, you know, it's just so bright, like I would say pretty unique to my collection. So I'm gonna be keeping both of those. And lastly, we have Mooncat's We're Back Witches, which is a magnetic from the Hocus Pocus collection. I admittedly haven't worn this in a really long time, but I love this one. I really love the Hocus Pocus 2 collection, just the flakies in combination with the magnetics. They just were so gorgeous. So I will be keeping that too. Next, let's do these types of greens where I don't know what you would call them, but they just kind of have this like strong, you know, bluish sort of undertone. I guess maybe except for this one, but honestly it kind of does though. So let's start with these two, the creams. This is 786 Kawaii and Mooncat's Beowulf. I love Kawaii. I know Beowulf is gorgeous, but I just don't really wear this shade of green. So I'm gonna set Beowulf aside because I know I want to keep this one from 786. I guess quickly, just to show it like next to some of the other creams that I have here. This is OPI's My Studios on Spring and allll's Pine from not last fall, but like the fall before that. This is definitely like a much darker shade of green that's like more of that emerald color, and OPI is more like muted, even like more blue toned. You know, they're all different enough that I could justify both, so, or all three. So I am gonna keep those. Oh, I forgot this one too. There's Olivav's Borealis. This one I think maybe is more similar to Pine, at least like, you know, in the undertones, but it's obviously a lot lighter. Maybe is this one more similar to Beowulf? No, it's like more, definitely more blue toned. It almost has like a dark like teal kind of quality, but I still think it's like more green leaning, you know, than a true teal or like a blue leaning teal. So yeah, between these creams, I think the Olivav is my least favorite. I would much rather keep these three, so that's what I'm gonna do. The only other cream here is Loud Lacquer's Belladonna, which I really adore this one. It is just such a beautiful shade. It kind of has, you know, ugly bottle syndrome, but it is so pretty on the nail. It's just kind of like a green leaning teal, but like dusty at the same time. I'm pretty sure I shared this in my first video on my summer to fall transitional favorites, where, you know, love a good teal for summer, but this one getting darker and a little dustier just makes it so perfect for fall. And we have a couple of these like sparkly shades left. I know for sure I'm keeping Plus Life Lacquer's The Lifestream because it's a magnetic polish inspired by Final Fantasy VII. I have to keep that. I also really want to keep this What's Up Nails Can't Unsee. This is just like a tealy green reflective glitter. Super gorgeous. You guys know I love reflective glitter, so I have to have it. And that one's definitely really unique color-wise to my collection. Starting with the Holo Taco shades, I mean, I guess this one isn't as tealy. It's like a brighter shade of green. This is Everything is Pine from, you know, that Holiday Glitters collection. I love it. I am gonna keep this one. This one is Starry Eyed from a couple of winters ago. I really like the color of this, and I love that it's, you know, like a glitter finish. As I'm sure you know though, this barely has any star glitters, so that's just so annoying. And I think because of that, I'm gonna put it in my destash pile. Then these two allll shades are Park Ave and Forever. This is from the Manhattan collection, which I shared on my channel this past fall, but it was from like a few years ago. And this one is from last winter. I feel like allll loves these shades of green. Even though I only have two here, but I think, wait, am I missing one or did I already take it out? Okay, the one that I was thinking of was Paradise from a couple of summers ago. This one is definitely a lot brighter than these two, but I feel like it's kind of in the same family. I don't remember if I took this out in my previous video, but I am gonna keep this one. So between these two, I think I'm just gonna destash Forever because, you know, when it comes to the finish, I definitely prefer the Holo finish in Park Ave, and this is one of those colors that I just don't need like multiples of, you know, and like different finishes, so just having the one is fine for me. Lastly, with the Morgan Taylor and Suuuch, I mean, these are very different. I feel like if anything, this one might be better to compare to the OPI, even though this OPI, if you didn't know, is a magnetic. Surprise. I mean, I feel like they didn't even know that, but between these two, I definitely want to keep the OPI. And again, I feel like this is just one of those shades of green that, you know, it's pretty, but I just don't reach for it often. And while I am tempted to keep this one because I know it has an amazing formula, it would be really nice to keep for like nail art purposes. Like imagine doing, you know, like a winter floral look and then using this green for the leaves. That's so pretty, but it's just, I don't know, I can I can live without it at the same time, so I'll set that aside. And lastly, we have Suuuch's Elixir of Everlasting Life, which is one of their shimmer graphics, and this is like a gorgeous, oh my god. I feel like this one I didn't love so much when it first came out. It's hard to remember. I mean, my mind changes all the time, so whether I like this one or not, I know that I really do like it now. So I do want to keep it, and I feel like it does stand out, you know, in my collection, especially with like the finish and stuff. It is just super gorgeous. So I'm making some progress, right, with my little destash pile off to the side, but I feel like I am also just keeping a lot. So I feel like I'm not gonna do much better now that we're getting into these shades of green that are, I don't know, what would you call these? Like, it's not really an army green. I mean, maybe some of them can be, like, I think these like top ones here are more in that army green family. And these again are that more like blue toned green, or like a celadon shade. I think that's how I described these types of shades last time. I know that I love all of these. I hate to say it, even the Orly shade, because I no longer support them. I don't want to, you know, platform them really on my channel anymore. This shade of green, oh my god, I love it so freaking much. Like, it's slightly darker, you know, than some of the ones I have here, and so I really want to keep it. But you know, it's one of those shades that, like, the minute that I find a dead-on dupe for this, I would be destashing this one. But this is Look at the Time, by the way, from the like Spice collection from a few falls ago. I guess maybe the allll is like the closest. I mean, allll is a brand that I also don't really want to platform either. So it is quite a shame that these two are just the shades of green that like I want to keep, you know? Actually, like, so different though. You can see that the Orly leans a little bit more olivey. Granted, this is just, you know, one little swipe or dab. You know what, since the Orly is more olivey, maybe it is actually closer to something like NCLA's, what is this called again? Camo is the New Black. Unfortunately, NCLA stopped making nail polish, and it was so devastating because I really love this one. No, this one's like too light. It's almost like more similar to the allll shade, but not really at the same time. And we might as well compare it to Island P. This is Treetop, which I have like right in the middle there, that like blob, but that one is even lighter. So yeah, these unfortunately are just all very different in my opinion. Realistically, you know, do I need, how many is that, 4 olive green creams? No, of course not, but man, they are just so freaking pretty. So I will be keeping them for now. Kind of olivey greens here. This lighter one is Loud Lacquer's Juice Cleanse, which again, definitely giving ugly bottle syndrome, but it is really pretty. So I am going to keep that. And lastly, we have Olivev's Wild, which was from their fall collection last year. This is so gorgeous, like, but I wish it didn't have the shimmer. And I know that's such a crazy thing to say because I love a gold shimmer, but I would love this shade so much more if it was just the cream. Yeah, unfortunately, I think I will be setting this one aside just because, again, that shimmer just doesn't really do it for me. I just want it to be a more opaque green, you know. And from these bottom ones, oh my god, I like these kind of celadon shades. I know for sure we're keeping allll's Lantern. Also really love Cirque's Rockaway. It's kind of just like a lighter, or you know, a much lighter shade. And then even lighter than that is allll's Zinc. These, oof, oh my god, they just do something to my brain. I adore them. But going back to these like kind of darker shades, we have nail polys. Best is yet to crumb, which, by the way, I'm sorry if you hear a car alarm outside. This one is like, you know, a dark celadon kind of color, and it has like this dainty yellow shimmer. And this one is Mooncat's Sagebrush, which is actually a thermal. Low-key hate that it's a thermal. Like if they could just, you know, make this and the warm state, because I love the warm state of this one as well. If it can just be like, you know, 2 separate polishes, big fan. I would love that so much. But yeah, I know I'm gonna keep the Mooncat. The nail polys, I want to keep it so bad because it's so freaking cute. Yeah, unfortunately, I am going to be keeping both of these because they are just so pretty. I mean, admittedly, I haven't really reached for this nail polys in a while. There are like other nail polys that I would rather reach for. It is so cute. I just can't. I can't get rid of it. Maybe one day. You know, maybe this is another one that I could add to my running list of shades that, you know, I should give another try to really determine, you know, how much I love it. Like if I love it enough to justify like keeping it in my collection, you know. These two are also immediate keeps. This is Sovereign Beauty's Teen Spirit, which is from Polish Pickup. This one specifically from Rewind. And this is Talon Aspen. I don't think Talon is around anymore. I used to have like a couple of their shades. They had some really nice like cream formulas. The ones that I still have are more of those like brownish, like it was like a teddy bear collection or something. But this one I adore. I love the shade of green, so it's an easy keep. And yeah, same goes for Sovereign Beauty. It is just so gorgeous, and it of course has the reflective glitter. It's just everything. It's like grungy but so pretty. These next two here, Cracked the Shag is another favorite. I was like, oh my god, oh, look at that. That is just so pretty. This one I feel like is almost the cream version. This is another Elamila with really bad ugly bottle syndrome. I guess not really, it just needs to be, you know, mixed up. But this is just such another nice shade of green that I just feel like is more unique than, you know, some of the other ones that I have. Like here is Zinc, which is a little bit more blue toned. This is kind of like maybe more jade in color, but it's like a muted like fall jade, which I freaking love that. Then we have Holo Taco's Headhunter. Obsessed. I'm keeping it. This one is, oh, I actually don't remember the name of this. It's Painted Polish Gilded Pine, but this one is just so beautiful. Again, kind of having that like darker blue undertone in this green base, and this one is obviously packed with these gold flakies. I love that one. And we have Starly's Forest of the Night, which is more like a true kind of green. I mean, it's like a very dark green, but it's not as like yellow leaning as Headhunter, but I wouldn't call Headhunter, you know, like olive in any way. So they definitely have a different undertone. And the Starly is definitely a lot darker than, you know, something like Olivav's Forest. So in my mind, it's worth like keeping. Like the way I'm trying to justify it in my mind is that Headhunter is especially perfect for me for the fall, but I feel like Starly, because it's a little less yellow, maybe more blue, or just like more neutral, this would be even more perfect for like the winter. Because I don't know, there's something about wearing Headhunter in the winter that just isn't my favorite. And it was like such a silly thing, but I don't know, that's just how my brain works, I guess. And finally getting into these kind of like mid-toned shades. These creams here, again, we have Holo Taco's Modest Moss and Nail Polys. I've been thinking about you because it's like a little green bean inspired polish. I love this nail polish one. And again, Holo Taco is just so pretty. It's so pretty. I'm just gonna, put these on the side here and we'll just keep going. But this is Potion Polish's Cabin by the Lake and Mooncat's Am I Everything You Fear. Even though I'm not as crazy about this Mooncat shade the way that like so many other people are, it's still beautiful and I do really, really like it. So I am going to keep it. I also am going to be keeping this Potion Polish. One of the few from like the last haul that I did where I actually like loved it, because there were a couple, I think like Loch Lomond and In an Ancient Wood, where it just, they looked so much darker than I was expecting them to be. But Cabin by the Lake, I was like, you know what, this is actually really pretty. I'm happy with it. It's unique to my collection, right? Like I surely have other similar colors, especially as far as the base goes. Having that like copper shimmer, oh my god, I love that. Also definitely going to be keeping this CX polish. I probably should have actually, I'm pretty sure I did compare these at some point, but this is Golden Pines, and comparing it to Holo Taco's Everything is Pine. I'm sure you can tell, but the CX polish is a little bit more of this like shimmer formula with like some, holographic micro glitters, but it's very different compared to the glitter bomb polishes that, these Holo Taco glitters are. So again, I think these are different enough that I could justify both. And yeah, I really like both. Like I love this color, but I also just love this like finish. And I can only hope that CX polish will come back. I know they're very missed in the community. And lastly, here we have the OPI, what is this, Decked to the Pines, the secret magnetic, because they did not ever market it as a magnetic. I really love the shade, so I am going to be keeping it. I know it's also very similar to this Essie that I had taken out already. I forget what the name of that one was, but it was from a like winter holiday collection. Those two are like the most similar, but I would rather keep this one, being a magnetic. And lastly, we have just these polishes that I kind of gave up on organizing, but they're all sparkly, like glittery kind of shades. Two that are the most similar here, even though they look very, very different, are China Glaze's Hex Boyfriend and Mooncat's Access Denied. I say that they're similar because they both are these like black base polishes with green shimmer. So, just by that description alone, they're the same on paper, but as you can see, they are very, very different. Mooncat is more of that like true kind of, shimmer formula, while the China Glaze is almost more of like a metallic. I'm pretty sure this also dries down matte, and it is just such a cool polish. So I will be keeping both of those. I know these two, I think, are also, or maybe not. Wait, where is it? Oh, these two are the next most similar ones, because they're kind of, I guess technically they're both teal, like, they have these really dark teal blue bases, but the shimmer in them just makes them like lean a little bit more green. Those Fight, which is one of their, or I think their very first charity polish, and then Bee's Knees Beneath the Erd Tree, which is from Polish Pickup. I actually think the Bee's Knees may be a little bit lighter in its base color. It also looks like it has a stronger like yellow shimmer head on, while Cracked is just green, but this goes like yellow to green to like, blue and aqua. I really wanted to keep both, but I feel like even though it's like so gorgeous, like I love these kinds of colors, I just don't wear them often enough. So because of that, I know I definitely want to keep the Cracked, but it just pains me to destash the Bee's Knees, because I know how beautiful it is. Like it's so, so pretty. I wore it as a full mani before. I don't think I ever took a picture of it, unfortunately, but it was gorgeous, but also at the same time just like one of those shades that I'm like, I don't love it as a full mani on me. And I know for sure I want to keep this KB shimmer. It's called Take a Bow. Super gorgeous. Oh my god, I love her. She is so pretty. Next we have Holo Taco's Perry Don't Bother Me, which actually, wait a second. Did I not? Okay, no, yeah, I am pretty sure I already had taken out Mooncat's Serpents of Eden, which is, you know, pretty close to this one, but Serpents of Eden is a little darker. I love this one. It is so, so pretty, so I'm also going to be keeping that one. This one might look kind of similar. This is Island Peas Frankie, but that one is a magnetic, and I also love that one. Oh my gosh. So freaking gorgeous. They definitely are giving similar vibes, but I can't choose between them, unfortunately. So okay, these are more like darker olivey kind of green, or maybe not olive, but there's like some yellow in here, right, that I can see. So this first one is Island Peas Forest Drive. Oh, actually, I did miss one. I can't find it right now because I have, you know, my lights on my desk and I can't see in my drawer. But I was trying to look for Island Peas Holly, I think, which is another really dark green. Between those two, like, I know I love Holly because it kind of has this like brownish undertone. Forest Drive, I feel like is kind of like it's really pretty and definitely like a very Christmassy green, but I'm not super super in love with it, I think. Oh, but it would be so pretty for nail art though. Okay, I might have to compare it with like some other shades or something because I see the potential. I know that I love this finish from them. So, you know, I'm just like inclined to keep it, but color wise, it's just, you know, like not my favorite for some reason. We'll set this to the side here for now while I figure it out. This one is Cracked Polish's Christmas Pickle, which I adore. I mean, this one technically I think actually has like a black base, but it is so packed with these gorgeous little micro glitters. Definitely an easy keep. Oh, I should have compared this one before to Mooncat's Access Denied. This is Holo Taco's Ivy League. I actually, you know what? I kind of do prefer the Holo Taco one. It's so hard because it's like they're so similar. The main difference is like the color of the green shimmer, where it's like a almost like a Kelly green in the Mooncat, and then this is just a little bit lighter. I shouldn't keep both because I feel like they're just so similar to each other in theory, you know what I mean? Kind of forgot how sheer the Mooncat one was because I'm pretty sure the Holo Taco is like, yeah, it's like way more pigmented. Okay. I know it's not fair to judge just off of this like one coat, right? Because it's like I'm not building it to full opacity, but I'm gonna do it anyway, and I'm just gonna stick with the Holo Taco one because yeah, as I've mentioned before, I've kind of been having a weird thing with like shimmers where some of them being like so sheer is starting to annoy me. Even though I know that's just part of the finish, but when it comes to a black base, I'd rather it just be more opaque from the get-go. And the last one that I had here was Glisten and Glow's New Jersey Pine Barrens. This was another like previous polished pickup shade. Being from New Jersey, I am legally required to keep that one. But no, I mean, it is a really gorgeous shade as well. It might look similar maybe to some of the other ones, like the Bee's Knees Beneath the Erd Tree, but this again has more of that blue base. Maybe you can see it from like this weird angle. And the Glisten and Glow is more of that like dingy olive green kind of color. Definitely not a dupe. Then I guess, yeah, these bottom ones here, these two Mooncat shades, I mean, this is Super Clusterfuck, which is one of my favorite glitters from them. Such a shame they retired it, and along with Monster Under Your Head. Well, not along with like that they retired this, but I'm gonna be keeping it because it's a gorgeous olive green linear hollow. Definitely different enough to Holo Taco's Lost in the Woods, where, you know, realistically, how many dark green linear hollows do you need, right? But I love both of them. Another perfect example of me wanting to keep like this one because it's more suited for fall and this one is more suited for winter. This one here is Jewel Beetle, which I know you can't tell it's green underneath all of the shimmer. But I will be keeping this one even though I'm not, super crazy about the multi-chrome. Like, I know it looks insane, but it's just, one of those polishes I personally don't really wear super often. I feel like it would look so freaking cool in some nail art, like, painting a jewel beetle with this polish. It would look so sick. Okay, lastly, these couple of ones. I mean, I know I still have this Island P up here, but from these, I know for sure we're keeping Zoya's Merida. She's a classic. Like, it's just so good. I love this finish. And actually, I'm like thinking of this one. I was gonna say it's kind of a similar finish to the Island Pea shade. You know what? I think I would rather keep Merida. Like, I like this color a little more than Forest Drive. It is still really pretty, and I am tempted to keep it, but it's so funny because I feel like it looks so similar to what I was just showing, where I'm like, oh, well, I can keep one for the fall, the other for winter. I don't know, do I already have like a fall olive hollow jelly? Maybe, okay, I'll set this, I'll still keep this for now, but when it comes to like a winter one, I know for sure we're keeping Merida. Also want to keep Avalon from Picture Polish. This is just such an intense, flaky, like metallic, just so cool. And I love the base color. Speaking of flakies, ooh, actually, this is Graceful Polishes Rainforest Raindrops, which is from Polish Pickup. They're like not, I mean, they're similar when it comes to being dark green flakies, but I wouldn't call these dupes. Avalon definitely has more of this like icy metallic flaky, like it's like a silver flaky, while the Graceful is like an iridescent because it goes from like yellow to green to teal in very extreme angles. I know for sure I want to keep the Graceful, but now I'm like, oh, should I keep the Avalon one? Especially for winter, like a holiday. Oh my God, you know what? I'm gonna keep it. I'm so sorry. Who am I apologizing to? I don't know, but maybe to future me, because eventually I'm going to be running out of room again, and I'm like, "Ugh, why did I keep it?" But it's whatever. These last couple of shades here, we have Island Peas Salem, which I just added to my collection not too long ago. Absolutely gorgeous. Going from green to purple, it's like the perfect Halloween multi-chrome. This is Holo Taco's Emerald City, which is beautiful, so beautiful. I mean, my one gripe is that it is very blue leaning. I know emeralds can be blue leaning, but like, I just wish it was like a very true green, like emerald green, because it does kind of lean a little close to like Mooncat's Maelstrom, for example. I will be keeping it for now because it's just so pretty. But if I had to choose, right? Pew pew to my head, I would choose the Mooncat one, but this one is still so stunning. Oh my God, I can't. These two are magnetics. This is Holo Taco's Wicked Potion and Starly's Pluto. They are definitely different enough that I can justify keeping both, because Wicked Potion is kind of like a true green with like a golden kind of shimmer. Starly is a little bit more blue leaning in its base. Like, I think this is most similar to Cirque's Mood Ring, but this has a much more opaque formula, which I prefer. So I definitely am going to be keeping both. And lastly, we have Crack's Vintage Lampshade, which is just kind of a multi-chrome shimmer. And it looks so simple, but it is so pretty on the nails. Like, even though I have like, a couple of other very shifty, like, shimmery greens, I feel like the shade of this one is just so unique somehow. So I do also want to keep it. So let me put back all the polishes that I am going to be keeping, and then, I can compare the olivey, glittery, whatever hollow flaky jellies to Forest Drive, and then make a decision on this one. Okay, so these are all of the fall slash winter darker greens that I plan on keeping. And it is definitely a lot. I feel like I was very, not unproductive, but I guess like unsuccessful with trying to minimize these. Like, even though, I started off pretty strong, I feel I sort of hit a wall at a certain point and was just like, "Oh, but I want to keep all of them." I thankfully do have the room, to keep them for now, but I know it's going to be an issue months from now when we start to see the fall and winter releases, So unfortunately, destashing, and especially for me, is just going to be this never ending process because, like I've mentioned before, I just don't plan on, expanding my storage. So I really have no choice but to continually destash. So it's fine. It just is what it is. But okay, so like I mentioned before, here is Island Peace Forest Drive, the one that I just seemingly can't make a decision on. It's definitely very different than like a more olivey fall tone green, like countryside, but again, it's not as blue toned or something as Merida. Even though Merida I wouldn't call blue toned, but it's just like a very true green. So I think because of that, I am just going to get rid of Forest Drive because I'm like, you know what? Maybe if I really wanted to, I could probably just do one coat of countryside over Merida and it would be close enough. So I'm going to do that. So I will set aside Forest Drive. Yeah, this is my finalized group, at least, for right now, right? Maybe in the future, I will reconsider keeping some of them because I know, like, realistically, again, especially like when it comes to the creams, right? Like, I don't need this many options. Try to keep that in mind, once like fall comes around. Which ones am I really like reaching for all the time? Like, I know there are some that are solid keeps, right? Like I mentioned before, Olive Av's Zinc and Cirque's Rockaway, those are easy, easy keeps. The Elamila, I love how it looks so much, but like, am I actually going to wear it? Time will tell, right? So at that point, I can decide later on. But yeah, these are all the ones that I'm keeping. So now let me show you the ones that I will be destashing. We have 14, which, does not sound like a lot. And again, I feel like I got the bulk of these out in the first half of the video when it came to the yellowy kind of greens because those are definitely my least favorite. Even with some of these more like blue toned greens, they're just shades that I do think are prettier than the yellow leaning ones, but I just don't really wear them. Yeah, looking at these, I definitely feel good where I'm not really gonna miss any of them. Like maybe maybe the bee's knees because I just know how beautiful it is, but I feel like cracked can definitely give a similar enough effect. But other than that, I can definitely say goodbye to these polishes and not really miss them too much. So I will still consider that a win. So that wraps up going through all of the greens in my collection. As always, I would love to know what you thought of this video. Do we have a lot of the same favorites, or did I pull out some of your favorites to destash? Because I know that there are a lot of green lovers out there, and I mean, I kind of am too. I'm just not like a self-proclaimed green lover, even though lately I have really been feeling them, though it's admittedly been like the lighter and brighter shades. But like I mentioned in my last video, green is one of those colors that has really grown on me over the years. Like when I first got into nail polish, I did not really like any kind of darker green. Maybe if it was like a really dark pine green, but I just like would never really go for that. And olives were completely off the table for me. Like I would consider those super ugly shades. I hated them so much. But then, over the years, my tastes changed a little bit and I realized that like I actually do like some olive shades. Granted, I still am very picky when it comes to them. Like I feel like they have to have the right undertone and like, suit me. But I'm a lot more open-minded about them than I was years ago. And if anything, I've learned to appreciate a lot of colors for using them in nail art as opposed to doing like a full manicure where that's more overwhelming for me. So let me know if you feel a similar way, if there are shades of green that you just can't get behind or you can only, use in small doses, because I feel like that is such a great way to like broaden your palette a little bit, introduce a color that you normally don't wear in like a little skittle or something. And then you'll realize, like, actually, maybe I am a fan of these shades. So let me know any and all thoughts that you have down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.